Hey world, I'm actually getting ready to drive myself to Mount Sinai to check into the ER because I'm still struggling to breathe, but there was something that was on my mind today that I just really wanted to speak on. It's kind of been brewing in my spirit for the past few days. It's a very complicated topic, and I'm just going to speak to a portion of it just because I think that we need some perspective here. Everybody's very, very upset about Lil Nas X and this video for Call Me By Your Name. And all the headlines are talking about this young man who is worshiping the devil and all this craziness. And generally in these kinds of situations, I like to reserve, my opinion for actually seeing what everybody's talking about. I look to watch a couple news, shows, read a little bit on social media to see what the pulse is of the world. And it just it astounds me, the discussion surrounding this video in particular. And I'm just going to be real brief because I can hardly talk, but I really need people to sit down and think. This young man, and from his own tweets included, he created this video obviously because this visual is everything that many Christians use to browbeat homosexuals and any and everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community. I won't say we because I don't do this, but a lot of Christians tend to use that Bible to browbeat them people and make them feel like horrible individuals. And this boy specifically said that he made the video hoping that as angry as everybody is at seeing it, that maybe now they understand how angry he felt being told that his life is basically worthless. He was worshiping the devil all because of who he loved and how he loved, which was not of his own choice. And the inner turmoil and struggle that child had to go through and is still going through to this very day. And I believe he's like 21 or 22, something like that. There's too many of us that are grown as hell. There's folks 80 done born, lived, and died and never was able to stand in their truth. So just the fact that this boy is attempting to live on a world platform in his truth is, number one, commendable. First and foremost, just as a simple fact, give respect where respect is due, because many of us are too busy hiding from our mamas, our daddies, our boyfriends, and everybody else that's just in our lives immediately, living miserable lives because they don't have the strength to stand up and live in their own truth. So show some respect when you see children doing what adults are not brave enough to do. Now, with respect to the video and how drastic it is, if you really look at the artistry behind it, this is a visual of, hey, young person, you were seduced into feeling how you feel, you were tricked, and now the devil's got you. That's the narrative that was given. So, since you were tricked, this individual in the video says, you know what? Well, then I might as well do the most. Since I'm supposedly on the devil's team and I didn't choose it, but this is what it is, well, then I might as well go hard for my team then, if that's what you're saying. So, of course, you see this person sliding down a stripper pole to twerk on the devil, but if you actually had watched long enough to have some kind of an opinion that is unbiased, to at least see what the person intended the message to be, you would have noticed that at the end of the video, he actually did all of that, came down there, distracted the devil, did not worship the devil. There is a difference. Semantics, but still a difference. And he actually assassinated the devil, the one that supposedly took a hold of his life in such a hurtful, harmful way. That's the story of the music video. And if you listen to the words of the song, it speaks to the song itself. Now, it is so sad and unfortunate that this person was hurt so much by these concepts being thrown at them and hurled at them their entire life, that they had first convinced themselves that they would keep this secret to the grave and that they would never tell anybody who they really were in their completion. They would never walk this earth standing in the light under God's love with their head held high in all of their glory, shame, all of it. good, bad, and indifferent. God made that boy exactly as he is. So if he made him with the mind that says that he loves who he loves, that's between him and God to worry about, and that's between him and God to fix, if anything needs to be fixed. Because I haven't heard God made any vocal announcements. And before we start talking about the Bible, we all can agree that Bible has been translated numerous times by numerous groups of people. And there were a lot of social things involved with the who's, when's, why's, and how that book was adjusted when it was. So I say all this to say, not even whether or not he should have done what he did or any of that. What I will say is that it's very clear to see the drastic lengths people will take to point out the hypocrisy that is used oftentimes, because the same book that everybody loves to quote also says, let the first without sin cast the first stone. The book also says, judge not lest you be judged. The book also says that no sin is worse nor better than any other sin. So as long as everybody's still out there lying, cheating, maiming, lusting, all of them other sins, run down the 10 commandments, please, before you start to point your fingers in anybody's direction about what they should and shouldn't be doing, who they are worshiping because of the choices that they're making, and all those other very, very extremely personal things. I'm going to ask you to really think about the kind of grace and mercy that you want God to have for you when you die. And if you don't believe in God, I would just ask you to consider putting yourself in the other person's position. If you don't believe in God, first of all, you shouldn't be throwing his book at people, so it's kind of like a win-win. Anyway, my point is, people, when you hurl judgment at people, when you hurl shame at people, when you tell them that their life is worthless because of something that they cannot control about themselves, when you treat them like they're nothing because of something they can't control, it kills a person's soul. And then hatefulness and hurt and spite then fills up that place. So now when said person decides to show you everything that you pushed into them, and they decide to do it in a way that makes a point, that is through artistry, that does not hurt anybody with respect to what you allow your children to watch, which has nothing to do with that individual, this all comes back to personal preferences. And my wish is that everybody would just prefer to mind their own business. If you're not seeking to understand somebody and to truly empathize with them before you start running to judgment and condemnation, I think you need to fix yourself and some of your sins first. So I'm going to go back to resting and preparing for this trip. But it was just really, really, really on my heart to address this, because it's just sad from beginning to end to me. You know, when people talk about, oh, but you were inspiring the kids with Old Town Road. But who read the lyrics to Old Town Road? The boy said himself he was talking about adultery and drinking lean. Who decided to make that a kid's anthem? We can go further down conspiracy theory lane with respect to who put all this money behind this specific visual and when they decided to put this video out. There's a lot of things that can all be true at the same damn time, which is why the devil works through confusion and chaos. So again, I get back to the first point, which is to mind your business and your manners. Lead with love and mercy and grace. Seek to understand and empathize people that you do not understand, people from different walks of life. Look outside of your immediate circle, because people are suffering and struggling with things that you couldn't even imagine. And you running around in judgment might be the thing that pushes somebody over the edge to suicide. And all you're going to say is, well, I just was worried about their soul. Well, maybe we should have been worried about your soul and just what nosiness does. Just what judging other people while you have things in your home to fix. Just what that does to your soul. You see how you got to watch for hypocrisy. It's a spirit that is moving these days. Hypocrisy, audacity. There's a lot of spirits beyond the spirit of homosexuality. So if you're going to speak on spirits, speak on all of them. And if you're going to speak on spirits, I'm going to need you to make sure that yours is right. Then we won't have hurt people who take such drastic measures to show just how much society's hurt them. So that's all I have the energy to say today, but I promised you I would start speaking on things God told me to speak on, and that was a big one that's been bothering me a lot. So for anybody who actually does want to see the artistry of it all, who is interested to see what came to the mind of a person who was forced to feel like he was nothing from his own people that looked like him, and from everyone else in the world who didn't understand him. And then just wonder, how much blame do we all have in that video? Where did those images come from? He didn't make them up by himself. Where did he get them from? So how can we be mad that he put them in picture form? He put it in video form, what we all have been spouting in his face. Well, not we, because I don't do that, but some of y'all. So, gets me a little revved up. I don't like when people are hurting unnecessarily, especially over things they can't even control. It's the most ignorant thing in life. But you all have a blessed day, and when I'm feeling better and stronger, I will be back with another video. I love you all, and be kind to each other. Love on each other. And stay positive and productive, people, because this life is hard enough. So be good to each other and love on each other. There's enough ignorant people that are going to bring you down. Okay? Love you all. And have a blessed day.